Frau grabs the notes she has been taking and decides to write a thorough report explaining how she got stuck in a cabin in the mountains. It all starts when she goes on a vacation with two friends and their dog, Lynx. Not being used to animals, she feels awkward around the dog. When they finally make it to the cabin, they settle down, and the friends decide to visit a nearby pub while Frau stays back with Lynx. Bored, she tries to pet the dog, but he snaps at her. She spends the day doing beauty care, smoking, and exchanging awkward looks with Lynx. Eventually, she goes to bed early. The next morning, Frau wakes up to find Lynx crying by the door. She lets him out to relieve himself and searches the house, only to discover her friends haven't come back. Worried something may have happened to them, she starts making her way to the village, with Lynx ahead of her. Suddenly, she hears him cry and rushes to his side, only to find he has somehow hurt his nose, but she can't see the cause. As she continues on, Lynx doesn't follow her but instead goes back. After a few steps, Frau bumps against an invisible wall. Confused, she touches it with her hands, confirming there is a barrier preventing her from passing through. She hears a pounding sound, which is just her own heartbeat. Frau thinks it is strange that no alarms were raised, and no curious villagers came to investigate the barrier. No matter how much she pushes against it, she cannot get through, so she decides to turn back. Down the road, she finds a farmhouse with two people, but the invisible wall stops her from interacting with them. Her voice doesn't carry across the barrier, and the farmers seem frozen in place, though water continues to flow from the tap. Giving up, she returns to the cabin, takes a smoke, and realizes Lynx is now her only company. Refusing to accept this reality, she goes back to the road and pushes against the barrier again with no success. Ultimately, she decides to go to bed. Suddenly, she hears a strange sound and tries to go outside to investigate, but when she opens the door, she discovers the barrier is now blocking the entrance to the house. Frau starts screaming, only to wake up in her bed, where Lynx greets her. She checks the door and confirms it is clear. After going for a walk, she finds herself unable to recall what else she did that day. It's as if the strangeness of the situation has put her mind in a daze. Frau returns to the cabin and uses her friend's binoculars to watch the area. The couple at the farmhouse still hasn't moved, and she concludes they are dead, as are the villagers. She thinks about her friends and wonders if she should have gone with them in search of the truth together. At that moment, Lynx begins barking and runs away. When Frau follows him, she discovers he has found a cow. Initially, she hides in fear, but then she approaches the animal and befriends her, bringing the cow back for milk. Frau names the cow Bella, noting she is both a blessing and a burden. Frau ventures to drive her friend's car toward the village, hoping speed will allow her to pass through the barrier. She even spots an abandoned vehicle on the other side, giving her hope. Unfortunately, the car crashes against the barrier. Ignoring her bleeding wound, she touches the wall and wonders about its meaning. For several days, she tries to find a solution to cross the barrier but to no avail. Eventually, her reality hits her hard, and she has a breakdown in bed, accepting that nobody is coming for her. The thought of giving up crosses her mind, but she remembers her friends stocked the cabin with provisions and resolves to survive in their memory. With supplies that include wood and potatoes, Frau starts her own potato farm, with Lynx determinedly digging beside her. As days pass, she winds the clocks every morning and keeps track of the date by crossing off a calendar. On a rainy day, she chooses to stay inside but hears a peculiar noise. Armed with a knife, she goes to investigate and finds a wet cat meowing outside. The cat becomes another companion, leading to a small family of animals. Lynx becomes her only friend in a lonely world. At one point, Frau decides to try her hand at hunting. She has never used a firearm before and injures herself on the recoil when attempting to shoot a deer, which flees in fear. As she roams around, she encounters the wrecked car again and checks the radio, discovering several stations with static and only one station playing music. She also finds a map, which she chooses to follow in hopes of reaching the valley. Lynx accompanies her as they walk for hours until they find an abandoned truck, but once again, the barrier prevents them from approaching it. After extensive explorations guided by the map, Frau memorizes the various areas inside the barrier. Now she can take quicker routes to the valleys, allowing her to return in a day without abandoning her other animals. Occasionally, she discovers other cabins, but they are always empty, so she takes useful items from them. Lying on the grass with Lynx under the sun while listening to birdsong becomes a transformative experience for Frau, who starts feeling more connected to nature. This deep connection brings her guilt when she hunts again, compelled to take the life of a deer for sustenance. At night, she struggles to sleep, haunted by images of the deer rolling in pain before dying. She refrains from taking notes on her first hunt due to her disgust. One night, a loud thunderstorm keeps her awake. The next morning, she hears a noise from the cabinet and opens it to find the cat has given birth, naming the white kitten Pearl. Eventually, Pearl grows into a beauty. Frau realizes she occupies her time being concerned about her animals to distract herself from her own situation, effectively replacing the responsibilities of her old work life with caretaking. As she works hard to gather hay in the meadow, Lynx silently supports her. Despite the physical toll, she perseveres, carrying hay back to the cabin daily. On these trips, she continually checks on the farmhouse, but the barrier still stands. Harvesting the hay takes her several weeks, leading her to realize the challenges of survival. Though she cries, she refrains from giving up as she refuses to abandon her animals. Depression hits her hard, and it takes time before she seeks to live again. In the forest, she discovers fruit trees and vegetables, allowing her to store enough food for the winter. Now, she and her pets enjoy better meals. One day, she comes across strange clothing hanging from a tree, startling her. However, it turns out to be merely a nightmare. Normally, autumn is her favorite season, but she struggles to sleep and faces worsening nightmares. She catches the flu and feels drained, grateful for Lynx's constant companionship. She often hugs him in gratitude. Frau notes that Lynx is now gone, yet she finds herself talking to him during walks. When the first snow falls, it lingers for only a few days before warm winds sweep in, disrupting her sleep and howling day and night. After several days, she leaves the house and finds Pearl dead outside. The cat receives a proper burial under Lynx's watch. Later, in the heart of winter, Frau spots a fox near the stream and prepares to shoot it but chooses not to. The thought of Pearl's death weighs on her, and she cannot bear to take another life. In the cabin, Frau brushes Bella daily, now considering her like a sister. Noticing Bella appearing round, she wonders if the cow is pregnant. Eventually, she must go hunting again, and the feeling of the deer's heart in her hands as she cleans it makes it hard to sleep at night. She keeps a close eye on Bella, especially when she notices some bleeding. In the evening, Frau helps Bella give birth to an adorable calf. Winter passes with heavy snowstorms, and Frau experiences seasonal depression, only venturing from bed when Lynx encourages her. Her memories of considering giving up fade when she remembers her responsibilities to him. As spring arrives, Frau decides to move to one of the cabins in the meadows. She gathers all her animals and together they travel to their new home, filled with hope upon seeing the beautiful pasture. From that moment, she finds peace with her animals and the surrounding nature. Her memories of those days remain vivid, and for the first time, she feels content. Eventually, she starts taking notes again, dedicating her time to doubling her wood supply. As the winter snow falls once more, Frau becomes more philosophical, contemplating how both animals and humans are compelled to live out their lives against their will. One day, she notices a white crow often flying around her house, ignored by its black family. Finding the white crow lovely, she silently judges the others for their discrimination, leaving food out for the outcast whenever its flock abandons it. Years pass with Frau living inside the barrier, and she gradually forgets her old life, giving up hope of being found. She and her animals move to a new home, hoping a change will lift her spirits. Unfortunately, she struggles to recreate the magic of her first summer. One afternoon, while returning from a walk with Lynx, he suddenly hears something near their home and rushes towards it. By the time Frau catches up, she is horrified to see a strange man slaughtering Bella's calf with an axe. As Lynx jumps at the man in defense, Frau runs to the house to retrieve her weapon. She is too late, and by the time she returns, Lynx has already been killed. In a rage, she shoots the man dead and clings to Lynx in despair. Afterward, she buries Lynx while Bella mourns for her calf. With no remorse, she disposes of the man's body by throwing it off a cliff. Emotionally detached, Frau leaves with Bella and the cat to another home. As she resumes her work, the absence of Lynx leaves her with nothing but her own thoughts. Reflecting in the present, Frau shares that she has moved on, cherishing the memories of her animals as motivation to continue surviving. She ends her report, noting